Next up, we have Meredith.
Hello, I'm from Lincoln and I'm on the Loren Eiseley board. And I'm going to read from the Loren Eiseley Reader today. Oh, I can't get that right. This is a collection of Eiseley writings. It has a foreword by Ray Bradbury too, which is pretty cool. This is from it's called The Innocent Assassin. It's a poem written after the discovery of the fossil of two saber-toothed cats locked in a life-death struggle by Eiseley's archaeological team in the Wildcat Hills of western Nebraska. This is, I think, in the book, The Innocent Assassins too, right? I think so. So, The Innocent Assassins. Once in the sun-fierced badlands of the West, of volcanic ash and cones, runneled by rains cut into purgatorial shapes where nothing grows, no seeds spring, no beasts move, we found a saber-tooth, most ancient cat, far down in all those cellars of dead time. What was it made the mystery there? We dug until the full length of the striking saber showed beautiful as Toledo steel, the fine serrations still present along the blade, a masterpiece of murderous art conceived by those same forces that heaved mountains up from the flat bottoms of crustaceous seas. Attentive and a little silent group, we squatted there. This was no ordinary death, though 40 million years lay between us and that most gaping snarl. Deep driven to the root of a fractured scapula, hung on the mighty saber undetached, two beasts had died in mortal combat, for the bone had never been released. There was no chance this cat had ever used its fangs again or eaten, died there in short, though others of its kind grew larger, suddenly were gone, while the great darkness went about its task. Mountains thrust up, mountains worn down, till this lost battle was exposed to eyes the stalking saber-tooths had never seen. Pure nature had devised such weapons, struck deep in the night, endured immortally, death, ambush, terror by these their innocence, her innocence, whose lives revolved on this, whose brains were formed only to strike and strike, beget their kind, and go to strike again. There were the great teeth snarling in the clay, the bony crests that had once held the muscles for this deed, perfect as yesterday. I looked a little while, admiring how the marvelous weapon had been so designed in unknown darkness, where the genes create as if they planned it so. I wondered why such perfect fury had been swept away while man, wide roaming, dark assassin of his kind, had sprung up in the wake of such perfected instruments as these. They lived long eras out, while we, in all this newborn world of our own violence, show uncertainties and hopes unfostered, when the cat's sheer leap wrenched with his killing skill his very self from life. On these lost hills that mark the rise of brain, I weep perversely for the beauty gone. I weep for man who knows this antique trade, but is not guiltless, is not born with fangs, has doubts, suppresses them as though he knew nature had other thoughts. In short, dim, but that the grandeur of great cats attracted him. Envy, perhaps, by a weak creature forced to borrow tools from the earth, growing in them, most cunning upon an outworn path. I see us still upon that hilltop, gathered like ancient men who, weaponless, detached from an old weathered skull, a blade whose form we shape could lift death up from Earth's inanimate core and hurl it at the heart. Whatever else would bring cold scientists to murmur over what they saw, we are all atavists, and yet sometimes we seem wrapped in wild innocence like saber-tooths, as if we still might seek a road unchosen yet, another dream.
Thank you, Meredith.